All right, so you guys sent in a ton of stuff about Halloween, and
Hmm.
honestly, some of it was really interesting. Like, I had no idea. So uh, we're going to go deep on this one, like way past the candy and costumes,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, it really is fascinating how much history is layered into this holiday. Most people don't realize that Halloween is this like global tapestry of traditions.
Yeah, so that's what we were gonna try and uncover today. Okay, so let's rewind way back to a time even before trick or treating. Back when the Celts were in charge around here, they had this festival called Samhain, right,
Hmm.
which marked the end of the harvest season, basically the start of like the dark half of the year.
Right, and it was more than just that. It was also when the veil between the world of the living and the dead was at its thinnest.
Whoa, that's a little creepy.
Yeah, I mean, the Celts believed that spirits could, like, roam freely on Samhain night, which was October 31st.
Oh, so that's where the whole like ghosts and ghouls thing comes from.
Yeah.
Makes sense, I guess, if you thought spirits were gonna be wandering around. You'd want to like light bonfires and wear costumes and stuff, maybe scare them off.
Yeah, exactly. Appease them or scare them. And of course, then the Romans came along and they brought their own set of traditions.
So they're marching into Celtic territory and they're like, hey, we've got some festivals too.
Pretty much, yeah. So they had Feralia, which was a day to honor the dead.
Okay, like a Roman Day of the Dead.
Yeah, and they had Pomona,
Pomona.
which was all about fruits and trees, like a harvest celebration.
So now it's not just spooky spirits, it's also Roman harvest festivals.
Right, and that's where it gets really interesting, because when these different cultures clashed, their traditions started to mix together.
Yeah, like a cultural mashup.
Exactly. So think about something like apple bobbing,
Oh, yeah. Classic Halloween game.
but it likely comes from the Roman celebration of Pomona.
Really?
Yeah, Pomona was the goddess of fruit trees, so it makes sense that apples would be a part of it.
Huh. Who knew that apple bobbing had such a deep history?
Well, it all goes to show that even something simple can have like really complex origins.
And it's not over yet, right? I mean, then Christianity came along.
Yeah, that's right. By the 8th century, Pope Gregory III made November 1st All Saints' Day.
Okay, I've heard of that.
And it was partly a way to kind of bring those existing pagan traditions into the Christian faith.
So they were basically like, hey, let's make this a Christian holiday now.
Kind of, but it wasn't a clean break, you know?
Yeah, I bet some people weren't too happy about that.
Yeah, there were probably tensions and pushback from people who still followed the old ways. But the night before All Saints' Day, which was called All Hallows Eve, still kept a lot of those traditions.
Like what?
Bonfires, costumes, even prayers for the dead.
So those old traditions really stuck around, even with all the changes going on.
Yeah, it really shows how ingrained those customs were.
Okay, so we've got Celts, Romans, Christianity, and Gonais. It's all starting to blend together to form what we know as Halloween. But wait a minute, what about trick-or-treating? That doesn't really fit with any of those early traditions, does it?
You're right, trick-or-treating has its own whole separate story, but we'll get to that later.
Ooh, a cliffhanger. Okay, I'm hooked. So we've seen how Halloween evolved from this mix of Celtic and Roman traditions, and how Christianity added another layer to it. But we're just getting started. Stay tuned, because up next, we're going to explore how Halloween became the modern spectacle we all know and love. And don't forget, you can always check out the sources you submitted for even more info. So until next time, keep it spooky.
And keep learning. Okay, so last time we were talking about how Halloween started, this like really fascinating blend of Celtic and Roman and Christian traditions.
Yeah, and then, boom, it crosses the Atlantic and lands in America, where I'm guessing things start to look a little more familiar.
You got America really embraced Halloween, especially those early immigrants, the Irish in particular.
Right, they brought their traditions with them in the 19th century.
Exactly, and they started mixing those with existing American customs. You know, like harvest festivals.
So like a real cultural melting pot.
That's a great way to put it. It wasn't just one culture's holiday anymore.
So, were those early American Halloweens anything like what we see today?
Not quite. Back then, it was more about community gatherings,
Okay.
playful pranks, you know, celebrating the harvest.
Like a more wholesome Halloween?
Yeah, trick-or-treating was still kind of emerging, and costumes weren't as big of a deal.
So when did it shift? When did Halloween get its, like, modern commercialized makeover?
Well, the early 20th century was a big turning point, especially after World War II.
Okay.
You had more families moving to the suburbs, neighborhoods becoming more kid-friendly,
Yeah.
and trick-or-treating just exploded in popularity.
Makes sense. Safer streets, more kids running around.
Exactly, and that's when you start to see Mass-produced costumes and decorations, suddenly it's way easier to deck out your house for Halloween.
Yeah, and I bet mass media played a role too, right? I mean, movies and TV were really starting to take off.
Oh, absolutely. Horror movies especially. Dracula, Frankenstein, all those classic monsters, they became super popular.
And everyone wanted to dress up as them.
Exactly. Those images became like synonymous with Halloween.
And don't forget those classic Halloween specials.
Oh yeah, like It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Those really cemented Halloween's place in pop culture.
For sure, they added that extra layer of like nostalgia and family fun.
So Halloween's not just about spooky stuff anymore. It's also about, like, wholesome entertainment.
Right, but that's what's so cool about Halloween. It keeps evolving.
Yeah, it's like it takes these ancient roots, but then it keeps adding new layers, new influences.
Exactly. It's constantly adapting.
Yeah, just look at costumes today. It's not just ghosts and goblins anymore.
Right, you've got superheroes, pop stars, memes even.
It's like Halloween reflects whatever's happening in our culture right now.
Exactly. It's this amazing blend of the old and the new.
So where do you think it goes from here? Will we be trick-or-treating in the metaverse? Will our costumes be designed by AI?
Who knows? Predicting the future is always tricky. But I'm sure Halloween will find a way to keep up. It's always been about adapting.
Yeah, it's like a reflection of our creativity, anxieties,
Yeah.
our desire to connect with something bigger than ourselves.
And who knows, maybe some of the things we see today, like those crazy haunted houses and escape rooms, will become the new classics.
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
But for now, I think it's worth reflecting on our own experiences with Halloween. What parts of it resonate with us the most, and how do we see it changing in the future?
Good questions. Definitely something to think about. All right, so we've really dug deep into Halloween, huh? From those ancient Celtic rituals to the Romans to trick-or-treating in the suburbs. But now I'm kind of curious about the bigger picture, Like, what does it all mean? Why do we still love Halloween so much, even after all these centuries?
That's a great question. I mean, why does a holiday with roots in ancient rituals still resonate so deeply with us today?
Yeah, it's kind of a mystery, right?
Well, I think part of it is that Halloween, it lets us embrace this like darker side of ourselves, the spooky stuff, the mysterious, even the macabre.
Yeah, it's like a safe space for all those creepy thoughts and feelings.
Exactly, and it's fun.
Right. It's not like we're actually afraid of ghosts and monsters. It's more like we enjoy playing with those ideas.
And there's also something really liberating about the costumes,
Oh, yeah, totally.
Like you get to shed your everyday identity and step into a different persona, even if it's just for one night.
It's like a chance to try on different versions of yourself.
Exactly. Whether you're a superhero or vampire or a giant slice of pizza.
A giant slice of pizza. Now, that's a costume I'd like to see.
You never know what you'll find on Halloween. But
Yeah.
it's not just about individual expression, right?
Yeah, there's definitely a community aspect to Halloween, too.
Absolutely. It's a time for connecting with people, carving pumpkins together, decorating your house, going trick-or-treating with your kids.
All that stuff creates a real sense of community.
Right. And even something as simple as giving out candy, it can create these like little moments of connection with your neighbors.
It's funny how a holiday about ghosts and goblins can actually bring people closer together.
It is kind of ironic, isn't it? But that's the power of tradition, I guess.
And speaking of tradition, let's not forget the historical side of Halloween.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, it's like this link to our past, a reminder of all those ancient customs and beliefs.
From the Celts to the Romans to the Christians, all those threads are woven into Halloween.
It's like this living tapestry,
A testament to the power of folklore and ritual.
And in a world that often feels very divided, Halloween reminds us that we're all connected somehow.
Exactly. It speaks to these universal themes like life and death, the changing seasons, the mysteries of the unseen world.
It's like Halloween gives us a space to think about those things.
Even if it's just for one night.
So as we wrap up our Halloween deep dive here,
Yeah.
what do you think the future holds for this holiday?
Well, Halloween has always been about adapting, right? So I have no doubt that it will continue to evolve, along with the world around us.
Yeah, maybe we'll have virtual trick-or-treating in the metaverse someday.
Or AI-powered costumes that change with our moods.
Who knows, but I'm sure it'll be interesting to see what happens.
The beauty of Halloween is that it's both timeless and ever-changing.
Exactly, and that's what makes it so captivating.
So, as we conclude our deep dive, we want to encourage you to keep exploring these themes. Think about how Halloween resonates with you personally.
What parts of it do you find most meaningful? And how do you see it evolving in the future?
Share your thoughts, connect with others, and keep that spirit of curiosity alive.
Because just like Halloween itself, learning is an adventure that never truly ends. So until next time, happy Halloween, everyone.
Happy Halloween.